Greetings to you all. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk, open forum political discussion show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, many things are taking place in our country, most of them not so pleasing. And one of it is the passing on of a former Lugari member of parliament, Cyrus Jirongo, in unclear circumstances. And as it's reported, he died of a road accident. The scenario around the whole thing is not adding up based on the available information, and therefore there has been a probe into the same. And the more it's looked in, the more questions are left without answers. And so, in this particular show, we'll be looking at this particular happening, and also to just scrutinize the evidence available and what conclusions can we make. But from all indications, is suspect of everything that went down on that particular fateful day. And of course, we'll be looking into the same. Thank you so much for joining from wherever you are. Please be an extension of what you're doing right here, right where you are, by sharing the video widely. Invite people to come in and be part of this great conversation. Apologies, we have not been able to be as consistent as we have always been, and that's because of some health challenges here and there. But I'm glad that we are able to come through today and able to, discuss some of the things that would have taken place while we were away. I want to salute every one of you for your faithful support and faithful followership. You are one of the people that make the whole difference in all the world by being part of the conversation on Sound Candid Talk. We've been here for several years now, and I believe part of what we are saying forms the right direction for this great country and this great generation. And so we really value your opinion and your input and your participation. So please play your role, whether you're getting us on TikTok, getting us on Facebook, on YouTube, or otherwise. Thank you so much. And please, let's engage, let's participate. Here we believe in self initiative. That is what is the proper definition of leadership. Okay, leadership is taking lead in a particular direction, so you don't have to be told what to do. You see what needs to be done and do it. That is one way of maturity, which is synonymous to proper leadership. And so shika doria sehemu yoyote ambayo unatupata, na hakikisha kwamba wewe ndio unakuwa prefect wa hiyo section. Kama ni TikTok, wewe kuwa prefect wa huko, hakikisha kwamba watu wengi wanakuwa invited na wanahusika katika mjadala wa leo tunapoangazia kwa kina hili janga la kuaga dunia kwake Jirongo kwa mazingira ambayo ni tatanishi, na tutakuwa tunaangalia hiyo kwa kina tu. Kwa hivyo makinika kukaribisha mtu. Watu wa Facebook sijawaona, naomba tukaingie tafadhali kwa fujo. Watu wa YouTube karibuni. Tuko YouTube Sound Candid Talk and Sound Candid Talk live, so please tupatane hapo na tuzungumze masuala haya kwa kina bila kufichana. Now, one of the things that has come out in today's a report of the postmortem is that Mheshimiwa Jirongo died of facet, what are they called, multiple fractures, multiple injuries that were as a result of the impact of the accident, the purported accident. But other people feel that that accident seems to be to have been stage managed. So I don't know what your opinion is, but I really would want to weigh on the same and, of course, learn one or two things. The other one is the exchange between Kalonzo Musyoka and William Ruto. At the moment, William Ruto seemed to be beating down Kalonzo on flimsy matters that I don't see how that is an issue. We'll also look into the same. And then, of course, our prayers and condolences for the family of the Supreme Court judge who passed on this evening, Judge Mohammed Ibrahim, one of the judges of the Supreme Court, succumbed to an illness. He had gone for treatment in India, came back, and later died at Aga Khan this evening. So our prayers and condolences to the family and, of course, the entire judicial fraternity. Well, let's embark on the same. We begin with a probe into the Jirongo scenario. And of course, there has been obtained a CCTV cameras, and it's showing how the vehicle moved and how the vehicle got into an accident, although the CCTV leaves out some other parts that, in my opinion, would have been of great help if those details were gathered. And so we will look into that particular video, and then, of course, begin to break down whatever it is that we need to conclude about this entire scenario. Let me just play that video first, and then tukaangalie masuala haya kwa kina. Ukitupata tu tafadhali karibisha mtu, kumbusha mtu show yupo. Viele wangu sijawaona, lakini nawakaribisha Jakindu Bay, Undumani na wengine wote tu ambao tunahusika katika masuala haya. Reverend Lala amepotea kwa muda mrefu, sijui yako wapi. Pia mwambie tunamtafuta aje naye atoe maoni yake kwa masuala haya ambayo ni tata, na lazima tuhakikishe kwamba ukweli wa mambo unajulikana kwa haya yote ambayo yanasemwa, yanasemekana na yanatendeka katika mambo haya yote. So let's look at this particular video, and then, of course, analyze what we must look into and, of course, understand. Here we go. Let me just quickly organize it so that it fits properly. All right.
Saa 8 na dakika 18 na sekunde 45 za asubuhi, gari la Jirongo aina ya Mercedes Benz jeupe linaonekana kwenye CCTV likielekea kituo cha mafuta cha Eagle kando ya barabara kuu ya Naivasha Nakuru. Saa 8 na dakika 18 na sekunde 55, gari hilo linaondoka ndani ya kituo cha mafuta. Kulingana na CCTV, Jirongo hakusimama katika kituo hicho cha mafuta wakati wowote. Sekunde mbili baadaye, saa 8 na dakika 18 na sekunde 57, gari aina ya Probox linafuata Mercedes yake kwa karibu. CCTV inaonyesha gari hilo la Probox ilikuwa na abiria wawili, na hakuna aliyeonekana kuzingatia gari la Jirongo lilipojiunga tena na barabara kuu. Kwa jumla, gari la Jirongo lilikaa takriban sekunde 17 ndani ya eneo la kituo cha mafuta bila kusimama. Hatua ya kutisha zaidi inaonekana saa 8 na dakika 19 na sekunde 14 pale gari la Jirongo lilipogeuka upande wa kulia kuelekea Nairobi kutoka Naivasha. Lakini hapa picha za CCTV zinaonyesha kuwa gari hilo halikuwa linaashiria mwelekeo, inaonekana kuchukua mkondo mbaya wa barabara. Saa 8 na dakika 19 na sekunde 23, basi la kampuni ya Climax linaonekana likija kwa mwendo wa kasi mno kutoka upande wa Nairobi kuelekea Nakuru. Sekunde 2 baadaye, saa 8 na dakika 19 na sekunde 25, basi hilo linagongana uso kwa uso na Mercedes ya Jirongo. Matokeo ya mgongano huo inavuruta Mercedes kwa takriban mita 25 barabarani, huku basi la Climax likisimama umbali wa takriban mita 50 kutoka eneo la ajali. Cha kushangaza mno, picha za CCTV inaonyesha hakukuwa na mwitikio wa haraka, kwani hakuna mtu aliyeshuka mara moja kutoka kwenye magari hayo mawili kuangalia kilichotokea. Dakika chache baadaye, moshi mzito unaonekana ukitoka kwenye gari la Jirongo. Saa 8 na dakika 20, mtu mmoja anaonekana hatimaye akikaribia eneo la ajali kuangalia gari la Jirongo. Swali linalozidi kuzua hisia ni namna Jirongo alivyoweza kusafiri umbali wa kilomita kadhaa kutoka hoteli ya Oasis iliyoko Karen, kaunti ya Nairobi hadi Naivasha. Lennox Sengre, runinga ya KTN.
Mchakato huo ambao unaonyesha ni inaitwa safari ya mwisho ama ni the last moments of the Jirongo vehicle before and immediately after the accident. Putting those pieces together, the vehicle gets into the petrol station. It doesn't fuel. It doesn't stay. It stays less than, according to that analysis, less than 18 seconds. And then it leaves, then it takes a wrong turn. That is on the wrong side of the road. And of course, in a few moments, there is that particular accident. And then, of course, those those gray areas or those dark areas where the vehicle has been knocked. The smaller vehicle, which is the Jirongo vehicle, is pushed 25 meters away, and the bus stops at 50 meters away, and nobody leaves the bus to come and check what happened. It looks funny. It looks funny. In my opinion, this is who could say this is only possible in a movie or something like that. And if indeed it was Jirongo driving himself, the questions are many, answers are few. At 11, according to his people that he was with in the evening, the last people to speak to him, including Mheshimiwa Haniri, and of course he was meeting Speaker Wetangula at the Oasis, is it restaurant or hotel in Karen. This in between, so he leaves at 11:30. And then is going home in his house at Gigiri. How did he find himself in Naivasha? Okay. And that is, we're talking about 3 hours later. And is driving as if he's not in control of the vehicle, because from the moves there, you see this is not somebody who is sober or who is in control of the vehicle. It's like the vehicle is controlling him. and it leaves a lot to be desired. Now, I'm just throwing this up because uh, we have got so many stories in this country of people being eliminated, and then it is made to believe. And our make to believe a scenario of our I would say our politics, as well as our dealing with our enemies, is alarming. If you can remember what happened to Msando, the ICT expert of IBC in 2017, we are treated to the same scheme. Okay, the Msando vehicle is seen driving around the city, later on to appear in different CCTV, but the CCTV, okay, they make sure that the CCTV doesn't show who was driving the vehicle. And so uh, many things are at play here, but in my observation, there's a lot that is left to be desired, and I would suggest that a serious probe is placed into this. Not what we are being, being invited into, and then of course, as usual, what do we call them? Our usual way of dealing with such cases, where we engage our DCI that go and arrest somebody. You remember the man who was arrested for, killing people and cutting them in pieces and throwing them in quarry? You remember the story? And then later on, he disappears from the police custody and things like that. And so when we get such and hear such, it breaks the whole confidence that the masses would have into the investigation systems of our country. We seem to be playing a lot, especially when matters like this. And I can list so many, cases that are still hanging till today. What became of Kemei's case? What became of Jacob Juma's case? What became of Msando's case? All of it is say they will leave no stone unturned. But there are some stones, it appears, are too heavy to be turned in this country. And so we are just left hanging on matters that we ought to be in control of the same. And so I would want that we I would want that we take serious this issue for once, and let the public, be fed with what is required, and not these fictitious narratives that we are trying to fabricate and trying to frame and trying to make believe. There is a video analyzed by Kumekucha. I'll be sharing it in the tail end of this show. And it gives what he calls forensic evidence, including what the Mercedes, wherever manufacturers have said about their vehicle. And so the story written by the police and what is booked and the scenario being explained is in contradiction with even the Mercedes vehicle. All I know is the Mercedes vehicle is not like other vehicles. It's made in such a way that they give priority to the safety of the driver in case of an accident. And it is so much into, putting up that kind of scenario whereby the safety of the driver, when it gets involved in such an accident, where he will not be having this multiple fractures and all this manner of, it leaves a lot to be desired. And so I don't know what you think about the whole thing, but in my opinion, we as the Kenyan people need to raise the alarm and, of course, demand answers. Let me see. Inspire Women says it is important to just inform people to be prepared that it is not going to be any better going forward. It appears so, and of course, we need to keep hope alive. But the future doesn't look good if this is the kind of treatment we are being treated to as a people, especially on matters that are clear. I think fooling the public is should not be something that we delight in, or even fooling people. We need, as a country, to return to the place whereby being truthful and being forthright has some value, not thriving into lies, fabrications, and narratives that don't teach anybody any of the values that are important in terms of helping even make sense of our world. And so, in my opinion, we have a long way to go. Let's just get this what the DCI.
In other news, former Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo died of blunt force trauma to the chest and abdomen, alongside severe spinal injuries described as incompatible with life. This is according to a post-mortem examination conducted on Wednesday at the Lee Funeral Home in Nairobi. Pathologists say additional toxicological tests are still pending. Meanwhile, the family and the burial committee are urging the public to refrain from speculation as investigations by authorities continue. NTV's Victor Ngaruya reports.
I walk very nicely, but I don't have a nice walking style.
More details surrounding the death of former Lugari MP Cyrus Jirongo in a fatal road accident along Nakuru-Nairobi highway are emerging following the post-mortem examination conducted today at the Lee Funeral Home in Nairobi. A team of 3 pathologists comprising 2 nominated by the family and the funeral committee, accompanied by a family doctor and a government pathologist, has released a report detailing the cause of death of the late Cyrus Jirongo. Speaking after the autopsy, the family pathologist Dr. Joseph Ndungu outlined the findings, noting while external injuries appeared minimal, the internal injuries were extensive and severe.
The body of the late Jirongo, and it had multiple injuries. There were multiple fractures. There was a fracture involving the right hand, 2 fractures involving the right hand, and then there were fractures of both lower limbs. The lower limbs are the legs. There was a crash injury to the chest with multiple ribs fracture. There was perforation of the heart with the rupture of most of the major vessels that connect the heart.
Based on the examination, the pathologists reached a unanimous conclusion on the cause of death.
As a result of our examination, we formed an opinion that the late Cyrus Jirongo died as a result of a crash injury to the chest, the abdomen, and also spinal injuries due to blunt force trauma.
The family doctor, Dr. Martin Wanyoike, has described the injuries to the heart as devastating.
I witnessed a very severe injury to the heart. The left ventricle was ruptured. The main pipe from the heart called the outer heart disconnected with the heart. And those injuries are not compatible with life.
Chief Government Pathologist Johansen Odur says although the autopsy has been concluded, further tests are underway.
We've taken samples for what is called toxicological analysis. The samples have been taken in sets, some which will be analyzed by our government chemists, and some which will be analyzed by the private pathologist on behalf of the family.
According to the pathologists, the toxicology results are expected within 4 to 6 weeks. Barrio Committee Chair George Hamiri has urged the general public to remain calm and avoid speculation.
We ask for calmness as we mourn our brother. The family wants to give our brother a peaceful send-off. He was a peaceful man who loved everybody. He loved peace. So we're just pleading that we don't want speculations at this stage.
According to the funeral committee co-chairperson, the autopsy findings now form a critical part of the ongoing investigations into the death of the former legislator as authorities continue to probe the circumstances surrounding the fatal crash. Victor Ngaroya, NTV.
Okay, there you have it, the report by the pathologists, and of course, after they have scrutinized the body of the late member of parliament, and you can, deduce from what they have given that the injuries were fatal and were multiple and severe. And that is why it's, there are questions being raised. Was this an impact of head-on collision only, or there were other other causes for these fractures and multiple injuries inflicted on an individual? Even if we didn't have his seatbelt on, we are assuming that those fractures are too many and too deep as is being explained, and therefore something drastic and more elaborate needs to be put forth to convince us, because there are people who get into an accident, come out, you know, fractured, yes, others survive, and things like that. So this climax bus and Mercedes Benz vehicle head-on collision is okay. Just wait and see. I believe that the truth will always come out, no matter how much it gets buried. But in my opinion, kuna moshi, lazima kuna moto mahali. Hii haikai kana kwamba ni hiyo impact ya hiyo gari peke yake. Kwangu mimi, kuna kubebwa kutoka sehemu fulani kwenda sehemu nyingine. Want you to give your thoughts on the same as we continue to engage and, of course, switch gears. But our country badly needs truthfulness, especially when it comes to dealing with government issues. I have a feeling that we move too far from the truth. We move too far from what should be until we now want to change what should be into calling it a lie. And that is not good. That's not sitting well with the future generations. I know serikali ni siri kali, kuna kuficha kwingi, kuna siri nyingi, lakini ni muhimu ukweli kuwepo na wazi kuwepo. Kama jamii, as a community, as a society, the further we move away from reporting accurately and, coming out clean and making things bare, the worse we are becoming as a country. And what that result into is that we increase darkness. We increase more, people participating into what is should not be. And eventually we'll just become a nation of liars, a nation of lies, a nation of fabrications. And before long, it will now be a crime to say the truth. It will be a crime to report matters the way they are. And eventually we lose everything. And so, and of course, being sensitive to the families of the bereaved and the bereaved families and all that, we as Kenyans need to stand for something and needs to enforce or rather demand that the people involved into these investigations give us what should be given. I don't. It will be very disappointing if we'll end up with a story like that one of Kware. We'll end up with the story of Msando, that the house girl. I mean, come on, this country is too mature for that. It's too mature for that. We are too exposed for that, and so I would and pray that will get some better, explanation for this, other than the usual stories of so and so did this and also and so we have arrested the bus driver. Oh, the bus driver has given this story, and now there is the other one who gave the story. The watchman gave his own version of the story, and now so many things, and all of it is just to try and bury what Kenyans are asking and demanding to get answers to. In my opinion, as a country, we need to up the game. And the DCI, they draw a salary, they are they are serviced by taxpayers' money. What I fail to appreciate is that their performance is very wanting. Their performance is very wanting. Their findings is like either they deliberately keep away from reporting what should be reported, or they are just lazy. They don't want to do what should be done. And when that becomes the norm, in my opinion, we just lose it completely. We just lose it completely. Uh, for example, now look at the story of Albert Ojuang. Look at of course, I keep referring to Msando's story, the story of Kware and all that. All of it is the DCI. And what the DCI gives us as a verdict or as an outcome leaves a lot to be desired. And so, in my opinion, we as a people need to, I think, demand value for our money. Mtu akaa kwa ofisi anapewa mshahara kila mwezi, akona even security of tenure, but what they deliver and give to the public as an outcome of their investigation looks so childish, looks so, obviously fabricated. So ni tuelewe hii ni DCI ya kuchambua na kufuata ukweli ama ni ya kuficha ukweli ili waovu waendelee kujificha miongoni mwetu? Tuelewane kwa hilo. Okay, well, thank you so much as we continue to engage, ladies and gentlemen. Asante sana. Hiyo namba ya watazamaji naomba ikapande. Karibisha mtu na alafu pamoja tukiwa pamoja namna hiyo, ningependa pia kuwakumbusha kwamba tuko live wapi? Kwa Facebook, tuko live kwa YouTube and of course TikTok. Asanteni sana. Inspire Women anasema Bernard, if nothing happened during all the previous instances including Msando, Kenyans will wait a long time. And that's the same campaign I believe we should launch right here. Can't we demand to get what should be gotten? Because why should we be paying a whole system? They are on salary, they have security of tenure, they are in that office, but what they are giving us is wanting. What they are giving us is it leaves a lot to be desired. Why should that be the case? And so, as Kenyans, I think we need to place some demands and demand that we need to see value for the money. Mtu asikae tu kwa ofisi na mezembea huku mambo yameharibika na hapeani majibu ambayo inaridhisha. Kwangu mimi sisemi ya wafanyi kazi, mi nataka kuridhika na majibu wanayopeana. Okay, na kama mtu aliuawa, ijulikane aliuawa. Okay, wahusika ni kina nani. Lakini mambo ya kutuzungusha tu, mara sasa watatuletea wazimu mwingine hapo aseme ni hii na hii, alafu mambo yanaisha hivyo. Kwangu mimi vita vyangu ni si kwa wahusika tu peke yake, kwa Wakenya. Tutaendelea hivi mpaka lini? Tutaendelea kuzika mambo ambayo tunapaswa kuyashughulikia mpaka lini? Mpaka saa hii sasa imekuwa ni halali kusema uongo. Kusema ukweli sasa ndio sio halali. Okay? Imekuwa sasa ni watu wadanganye, hiyo ndio wanaita siasa. Wanasema siasa ni kudanganyana, ni kusema uongo. Na it is not what builds a society, it is not what builds a nation. We can't build on lies, we can't build on fictitious stories. We must come to a place whereby we say, enough of this. We need to toe a line and to be able to chart the way forward that has a reliable future, a future that we can count on. But if this is what we are, investing in, no, I fear for the future. I fear for the younger generations. They may not find this country if we continue in this aspect, especially our attitude of burying things and forgetting them and moving on. Accept and move on, accept and move on. Accept and move on has now become our culture, and it's become a norm. But what is it giving us? It's giving us a rotten society, a broken down systems of governance. And as we continue in this direction, we may just end up where we have now a dysfunctional country. Yes, a dysfunctional country, because the DCI will not give you what you are looking for. The anti-corruption will not give you what you're looking for. The police will not be doing what they are expected to do. Same with teachers, same with doctors, same with nurses. So what happens? Everybody for themselves. And I don't think that is the future we want. I don't think that's the country we want. And so as Kenyans, we need to up the game. Let's ask right questions. Let's ask right questions. And let's stop being this fearful and, of course, quickly to be, accept and move on. What is not clear, we should demand until there is clarity. let's stop this laid-back attitude of that's what they do. That is normal with them. No, we need to begin to demand that what is not clear is made clear, especially where the government is involved, and of course there are people drawing a salary, from taxpayers, and if they are not doing what is their duty to do, let's demand that they do what they should do, or they should, wakanyage kubwa kubwa wakielekea kule wanakotoka. Huyu anaitwa Jared na Mbuye Achero anasema who killed Jirongo? We are asking the same question. If you have an answer, please come and let us know. But this country has seen too much. We have seen too much, and inaonekana tunafurahia tu kuongeza dhambi juu ya nyingine. Sijui nani atakaye tuokoa na haya yote. Naomba tusonge mbele. We will change gears, but we will still discuss this, the Jirongo probe. So to me, I would want a serious probe. Ikiwezekana, not just a commission of inquiry. I think we need a serious private investigation in all these, so that we can come to a conclusion of what went down. Because we do a lot of, we make drama out of this, okay? We make drama out of this, some little noise here and there, and then it dies down, we forget it, burial is set, everything is concluded, and until another person goes again. So since Jacob Juma died, let's start with Msando. Msando died, Jacob Juma followed, we had Kimei. There's a whole list of people that died in unclear circumstances, and that list goes on, and all we do is make some little noise here and there, a kick here, shout here, say this must go, and this and that, and thereafter we cool down, and we go back to life as usual. Yes, there is Kimei, there is Msando, there is Jacob Juma, and then of course we have the Gen Z just recently. There are even specific names of the young people that were shot in that particular, demos. Of course, we have General Gola. Somebody has written there, Raila Odinga, and now Cyrus Jirongo. And so all these, are serious allegations that as Kenyans, we must begin to be sure of our country. If not, something needs to be done so that our country gets fixed once and for all, for us to live in safety. Tuache hii story ya sisi kuwa na ile inaitwa moto wa nyasi, okay? Tuna then after that we cool down, we go back to business as usual. I think we need drastic measures for ensuring that we don't lose people just like that in unclear circumstances. I'm not saying that people don't die or, road accidents don't take place. But in matters that of grave realities like these ones, demanding answers, I think, is the valid way to go about it. Well, let me just bring in this quickly as we proceed.
Ati amejaribu kunijibu. Ati amesema ati sio 50 years, ati ni 40 years. Sasa nimuulize my friend. Sasa kwani 40 years ni siku mbili? Unahitaji miaka ngapi my friend? 40 years hujafanya. Unahitaji miaka ngapi ndio upange barabara ya kwenda kwako? Kabla hujakuja kushughulika na mambo ya Wakenya, please jaribu kushughulika na mambo ya barabara kidogo ya kwenda kwako. Ati amejaribu kunijibu. Ati amesema ati sio 50 years, ati ni 40 years. Sasa nimuulize my friend. Sasa kwani 40 years ni siku mbili? Unahitaji miaka ngapi my friend? 40 years hujafanya. Unahitaji miaka ngapi ndio upange barabara ya kwenda kwako? Kabla hujakuja kushughulika na mambo ya Wakenya, please jaribu kushughulika na mambo ya barabara kidogo ya kwenda kwako. Amejaribu kuni.
Okay, that is President Ruto castigating Kalonzo Musyoka that the road that goes to Kalonzo Musyoka's place is still muddy, dusty, and is not tarmacked. And according to William Ruto, Kalonzo has been in leadership for 50 years, and he has not been able to do the road that goes to his place. So what would he be doing asking for leadership of Kenya when he cannot do the road that goes to his place? Now, this one of the sad things that I hear from William Ruto, as well as other politicians, in terms of distribution of development. The William Ruto style of leadership and mentality is just in what he is expressing himself. Of course, like the Bible says, from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. I've asked a question. Does road construction, okay, is it a private venture or it's a public venture? Is it the responsibility for an individual to do the road that goes to his place, or it is government responsibility? Okay, I'm not in any way defending Kalonzo and, of course, his lengthy leadership. But from my calculation, Kalonzo was vice president 2007 to 2013. Okay, that's 5 years as vice president. The other ones, I think it was the time he was education minister. I think late in the 90s, he was an education minister. And they had different dockets in the Moi government, which they were together with, of course, Ruto. And so, vice president 2007 to 2013. Ruto has been deputy president from 2013 to 2022. Okay? And now he's president from 2022, now is 2025. Who is supposed to be answering questions on why roads have not been constructed? The person who was vice president over, 17 years ago, or the person who has been deputy president for 10 years and now he is president, who is in a better position to explain to us why certain places don't have roads, or roads going to certain places are not tarmacked? That's question number one. Question number two, does it mean that according to William Ruto, when you are in office as president, vice president, member of parliament, it now becomes you are using the public office to do your village projects? Is that how he operates? That I now become president and then I go to do the roads in my village because I'm president, and all the resources for the country are now diverted to go and do roads in my village? Help me understand, because if this is the kind of mindset that we are banking on to, now there is a campaign for taking Kenya to first world. This doesn't sound like first world. Help me. Uh, I don't want to sound insulting, but this doesn't sound like first world. I mean, despite the fact that Kalonzo has been in government and has been in parliament, there is also a long time he has not been in parliament and has not been in power. While he was out of power, the person who has been in power is William Ruto. So why should William Ruto blame Kalonzo for a road, the power, and he was the one in cabinet? Yeah? So to me, it's not a matter of anaona hapa anaitwa nini Ewalele anasema Bernard Kalonzo hatawezana na Ruto, unge aunge Matiang'i mkono. Hapa naona umeanza kampeni na mimi sina shida. Kwangu mimi nataka tu kuangalia ile swala kwa kina, kwa sababu mimi nikiwa president ama deputy president, jukumu langu kubwa ni kuhakikisha kwamba nchi inaendelea, na kwa nchi kuendelea sio sehemu moja ya nchi, sio kule nakotoka, sio kwa jamii yangu, sio kwa mlango wangu, ni nchi nzima. Kwa hivyo kama umekuwa deputy president for 10 years na saa hii umekuwa president, hauwezi kuwa unalaumu yule mtu ambaye ulichukua mamlaka kutoka kwake for now over 17 years kwa kuwa barabara ya kwenda kwake haijakuwa tarmacked. That is a self-indictment. But the way he's saying he wants to deceive the public, or rather paint Kalonzo in bad light so that he looks good. But this is obvious. So Kenyans need to be seeing through this. This is lying in the tooth, because it's clear that marginalization, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, is still in practice today. The same things he's accusing Gachagua for is the same thing he's suggesting here. Okay? Gachagua alisema maendeleo yafanye kulingana na shares. Na shares tokana na nini? Na kura zako. Sasa kwa Kalonzo au kupigia kura nini? Kenya Kwanza. Hiyo ndio sababu barabara zao hazijakuwa tarmacked. Is that what he is saying? So to me, this is unbecoming, this is unpresidential, and in my opinion, William Ruto is not convincing me that he's serious about making this country any better. He's for the destruction of this country, and the earlier we realize that, the better. I don't think road construction should be an issue to use to insult anybody, except William Ruto is supposed to prove to us that kuna pesa walitoa kwa cabinet waka allocate barabara ya kutengeneza hiyo barabara ya Mwingi ama ya wapi ya kwenda kwa Kalonzo. Kalonzo akakula hiyo pesa, ama Kalonzo akazuia contractor kutengeneza hiyo barabara. That will make sense. Lakini wewe kutukana watu kwamba hawana akili kwa sababu barabara ya kwao ni dusty, while you are the one supposed to be shouldering that responsibility, while you are the one supposed to be held responsible for the same, in my opinion, this is too low. This is too low for a person of a head of state and, of course, a leader of a progressive nation like Kenya. Okay, Inspire Women anauliza the plain truth is neither Kalonzo or Matiang'i will be able to remove Ruto through the ballot. Removing Ruto through the ballot is an uphill task. That one we have said here before. And uh, not because he cannot be removed by the ballot, simply because our election system is compromised. Let me use better English. Is compromised. But the best description is that it's rotten. It's rotten. I don't think it can deliver a free, fair, credible election until we have some people with a nerve taking charge of that particular process. But if the by-election we had is anything to go by, there is no IEBC to conduct a free, fair, credible election in 2027. It is not there. Let us not even expect it. Because whatever they did in the by-election is what they will do in 2027, and will still end up having what Baba used to call the faranga, their computer. We'll still have members of parliament we didn't vote for. We'll have MCS we didn't vote for. We'll have governors we didn't vote for. We'll have senators we didn't vote for. The whole thing is a charade that looks ugly, like what happened in Tanzania. That is what we are turning our country into, and in my opinion, that is a huge letdown, because there is no need of us conducting an election if the decision of the people doesn't count. And so we have like I've intimated to our people we discuss here politics with. I said to get rid of William Ruto in 2027 is going to take an act of God. It's going to take an act of God, and to me that's what I see, because we are dealing with somebody who can do anything to stay in power. Or staying in power is do or die. Is by all means, by any means, by every means. That is not how we go in an election. That's not how we should go in an election. That's not how we should compete in an election. Every competitor in an election should be prepared either to win or lose. But this one of going into an election with I must win, I have to win, I must do everything to win, that is not competing. That is now, pushing and forcing your way, even against the people. And that ceases to be democracy. It ceases to be free, fair, credible elections. It becomes an imposition. And, this imposition of leadership, demanding that so and so must be president, you hear the narrative that is being pushed that all of us have what? Okay. Happy to see you, Bundi. Long time. Karibu, ume lost sana. Okay. All of us have been treated to this kind of election process that never gives us what we are looking for. And as long as this is retained, we will lose this country. We will lose this country. We will lose the democracy, the democratic practices. The narrative I was talking about is the narrative of no president has served only one term in this country since we reintroduced multi-party. Moi served two, Kibaki served two, Uhuru served two, and so they are saying it's a must that William Ruto should serve two. But that is not what the Constitution envisions. That's not what the Constitution, places there. If that was the case, then we should have, what do we call it? Seamless progression. You serve 5 years and continue with the next 5 years without an election in between. The reason there's an election in between is because you can serve one term and be rejected the second term, depending on how you have performed and all that. And so this aspect of us being taken to an election when the conclusion of that election has already been done is what I find very annoying, to say the least. It's very annoying, because why should you make all the people line up, go cast a vote, when you know, according to you, you cannot be removed from office, that Kenyans cannot vote you out of office? Then why should we be, why should we have an election in the first place? And so if we want to have a dictatorship, let's just have a dictatorship and be known clearly we are having a dictatorship. But if we are in a competitive democratic wherever system, then let the system have its way. When the people are for you, you are in office. When the people are against you, accept it and take a walk, go home. And so those who are pushing like hiyo inasemekana kazi bila break, kazi Ruto anafanya kwa hii nchi, bado naendelea kuwauliza iko wapi? Nimeambiwa ni affordable housing, nimeambiwa ni nini ingine, what other thing is he doing? Well. Let me just get back to this as we deconstruct that. And so the lies by Ruto that Kalonzo should make the road that goes to his house first, to his home first, before he's eligible to be elected, that is not even reasons for elections. Elections in this country needs to be out of competence, and of course the experience of Kalonzo and team is not to be undermined. And of course, let's also compete on merit. Let's compete on values, not this insulting, degrading, and devaluing people. That's not competition. This competition of insulting people and looking down on people and belittling people, it's abnormal. It's abnormal. It's unbecoming. It's unprecedented. Who goes into competition to belittle his opponent? Just tell us you are this, you are this, you are this. Not to tell us wala wana akili au atapata wapi akili ya kufikiria na hiyo mambo mengine. These are politics that have been pushed down our throat by the same William Ruto, and now he wants it to be a normal process of us politicking. In the past, we had politics that respected your opponent. Respected your opponent. You differ, yes. You will not agree in principle and all that, but there was no belittling of anybody. The exchanges between Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi were all respectful. They are disagreeing, but respectfully, and nobody calls the other one names. So this .com politics of belittling people and insulting people and looking for the weak points and capitalizing on those weak points into those people, and as long as you can deceive the masses to believe that what you're saying is what should be, or you are the best man in this country and nobody can win against you. Let's leave that for Kenyans to decide. Let's leave that for Kenyans to decide. And on that note, there was a scenario where some mamas decided that enough is enough. I think they were given some money by the Ruto team, and they decided to tear it and say one term. I don't know whether it was a bribe or it was what, but let's just watch the video and Okay, there you have it. Those mamas, I understand they were promised to be given, is it 1,500 for attending that particular meeting? But after the meeting, they were given 100 shillings each. So they decided to tear it and, of course, protest. And, of course, they were supposed to sing two term, but they changed. They began to sing one term. I'm playing this just to bring us to also the place of understanding. There is a limit to how far you can push people and push people into, you know, a deception. Okay. I believe William Ruto believes that he can buy anybody and he can make his money can make everybody to change their mind about who he is and how he has mistreated Kenyans. And that to me looks like a self-inflicted deception. Self-inflicted deception means he has deceived himself to believe that he can deceive anybody and he can deceive everybody all the time. And Kenyans are easily fooled. Kenyans are easily bought. And so doesn't matter how angry they are, it doesn't matter how much they are protesting against him. The moment he comes out with the money and gives them, they will forget everything. He's beginning to look like that husband who mistreats the wife and, or rather, mistreats the wife or beats up the wife. And he comes back with a gift, comes back with a kilo of meat, maybe a lasso, a new dress, a pair of shoes. And he thinks by those gifts, it has taken care of all those beatings or all those mistreatments that he has inflicted on the wife. That kind of a relationship, it doesn't go far. It doesn't go far. And that is what I can see William Ruto is building with Kenyans. Instead of him endearing himself to Kenyans by solving Kenyans' problems and easing the burden of Kenyans, he says he will tighten the burden of Kenyans, but by giving them handouts, by giving them, incentives here and there, they will just forget everything. They will still vote for him. He is still the best man. He has no competition. His opponent or his competitors hawana akili kama yeye, hawajasoma kama yeye. Hakuna mtu kama Ruto. And so, what I see here is that William Ruto is making more enemies than friends, and he has chosen to make enmity between him and the Kenyan people. And if he doesn't get advised to begin to repent and seek genuine, forgiveness from Kenyans, the assumption that the money will do everything, the paying off will do everything, I think the Kenyans will make a date with him on the ballot. As much as our balloting or our voting may not count, but it can still speak. It can still speak. The reason I'm saying that it can still speak is that the true results will always be there and will be known to the people who manipulate the result. And so, like 2007, the true results. 2013, there is the true results. 2017, there is the true results. And they know who won and they know who was denied wherever they win, even after winning. And so those true results will always haunt you. That you got 3 million votes and inflated it, it became 7 million for you to be made a fake president, for you to be made an illegitimate president. and things like that. So Kenyans rejecting you, you may, they may reject you on the ballot. You accept yourself and manipulate the results, declare yourself president. You will serve the 5 years, but you will still know that the majority of Kenyans voted against you. You will still know that the majority of Kenyans are not happy with you. And to me, that is living a lie, and living a lie has its own implications. Without much on the same, I will simply encourage Kenyans, let's go to the ballot and vote for the right people. Let's cast our vote the right way, regardless of how IBC will interpret what you have cast, regardless of how IBC will tabulate the results. Just vote with your conscience, vote for a better Kenya, vote for good leaders. And then, of course, from there, let's trust God for the outcome. But in my opinion, we are destroying this country as we mess up with our election system, our judicial system, our security systems. The more we compromise them, the more we destroy this country, and eventually we'll end up having a lawless country. We're going to have a country that cannot be governed by rule of law. And that is when we realize, and in my opinion, it will be too late to correct our wrongs. Well, on that note, let me just bring in this. There is Kenya Moja, the younger members of parliament have something to say as we begin to wrap up here. Just one moment, let me just get this in its rightful position. Here we go.
Na mtazamaji, muungano wa Kenya Umoja unaojumuisha kundi la wabunge vijana sasa unamtaka waziri wa afya Aden Duale kujiuzulu ndani ya saa 72 zijazo. Wakizungumza katika majengo ya bunge, wabunge hawa muungano wa Kenya Umoja wameshtumu waziri Aden Duale na wasimamizi wa bima ya SHA na watu katika ikulu ya rais kwa kupanga njama ya kulaghai fedha za umma kupitia mianya katika mfumo wa SHA.
Wabunge hawa waliwasilisha msimamo wao mkali dhidi ya waziri wa afya Aden Duale na washirika wake wanaoshutumiwa kuhusika katika sakata ya ulaghai katika bima ya afya ya SHA.
We've said enough is enough. We now demand for the immediate resignation of Honorable Aden Duale.
Kwa mujibu wa wabunge hawa, SHA ilichukua nafasi ya NHIF haikukusudiwa kuleta mageuzi bali ni njama ya ulaghai. Kenya Moja pia imeeleza kuhusu mgongano wa kimahusiano, ikidai kuwa waziri Duale ana uhusiano wa kibinafsi na kampuni inayoendesha malipo ya SHA.
The CS for Health is associated with Convergence, one of the companies in the consortium, and there is an advisor in State House who is associated with Apiero, the two companies that government has outsourced the approvals and payment of claims.
Mwenyekiti wa bodi ya SHA pia hajaachwa nyuma katika haya, akishutumiwa kuwa na uhusiano wa karibu kibiashara na hospitali ya Ladnan ambayo tayari imelipwa shilingi milioni 66 katika sakata hii. Kenya Moja pia imetaja dispensari ya Nyandiwa, kaunti ya Homa Bay, ambayo haijakuwa ikifanya kazi kwa muda, ila imekuwa ikiendelea kupokea fedha za SHA na vituo vingine vya huduma ya afya.
Deepens Medical Center in Rangwe, Homa Bay County, received 2.8 million in June, yet it does not even exist.
Wabunge hawa walisema kuwa deni la shilingi bilioni 32 lililoahidiwa kulipwa chini ya siku 90 baada ya mfumo wa NHIF kufungwa bado halijashughulikiwa, huku mfumo wa SHA ukiwa tayari na deni lake la shilingi bilioni 43, deni ambalo limefika shilingi bilioni 75. Huku utata ukiendelea kuzingira bima ya SHA na wanasiasa kujitokeza na shutuma, mstari mwembamba kati ya wito wa uwajibikaji na michezo ya kisiasa unaendelea kufutika, ila Mkenya anayechangia anachokitaka ni uwazi na huduma bora. Victor Ngaroya, NTV, Nairobi.
Okay, there you have it. The Kenya Moja fraternity, that is a group of young members of parliament demanding that Duale, the minister or rather cabinet secretary for health, to resign on the scandal of SHA, where there are fictitious claims that are being honored and given priority by the wherever the medical scheme for the government. And according to these members of parliament, it is all an inside job where key people are presiding over that particular system to benefit from the contributions of Kenyans. Now, this is also a sad reality of our country, where the government is no longer an institution of serving the public, but a cash cow. A cash cow meaning when you are given a government responsibility, you are serving in different capacity, you look for an opportunity of how much can you make, what can you take advantage of and make a kill and go. And to me, it's a very sad reality that we are not just, now making money with lands. We are now making money with the health of the Kenyan people. And this is because there are many needy Kenyans who are turned away from being attended to because of these SHA issues. And then there are hospitals that are receiving majority of the less fortunate Kenyans that don't have those resources, don't have access to those those claims are not being even remitted. But these fictitious, we had a story of ghost secondary schools that were receiving capitation. And of course, people are making a kill with the education of our people, of our children. So the same thing is now being discovered with SHA, that there are specific special hospitals that are well connected to State House and of course Duale, that are receiving a lion's share of the SHA contribution and without questions. And some of those hospitals are either not functional, or they are not receiving the magnitude of patients like they are claimed. But when it comes to them, as it is claimed that the first bill to pay in the Kenya government is the bill for corruption. So as soon as the money comes in, we pay for corruption first before we think about anything else. And so the SHA contribution caters for these ghost hospitals, ghost patients, ghost cases before the genuine suffering Kenyans are attended to. And to me, that is a crime against humanity. I mean, why should you be drinking and sleeping on the blood of Kenyans? So SHA wasn't an improved system of collecting enough resources, enough contribution to help every Kenyan get medical care. It is now another cash cow for the well-placed people in this administration to make a kill. When will we learn? When will we ever serve the people? When will we ever operate as a country in the interest of the people? And so those mamas that are dying while giving birth, those patients that are dying while waiting for the whatever signals to come, and all that manner. You want to tell me that you can still go home and close your eyes and sleep when you have taken the money that was supposed to take care of these needy people? And so I support those young parliamentarians. Something drastic needs to happen. And not only the minister or the CS for health to resign. I think this is criminal. And we need to see more than just somebody resigning. We need to see people behind bars. We need to see this money claimed. We need to see these hospitals, return the money, because these are contributions not from Ruto's pocket. This is money contributed by all Kenyan workers, and it's no longer voluntary. It is now, it is not what used to be with NHF, where people were contributing, as much as, was it 4,000, 1,000, things like that. Now people are contributing, like members of parliament are contributing as much as 30K per month. And all of that is supposed to be what? Taking care of the health of the Kenyan people. But it's ending up in somebody's pocket, probably in preparation for the 2027 elections. So they are looking for campaign money. Something must happen to this country, and I really pray that this country will be fixed one day. That the culprits, these twisted people, these wicked, hard, twisted people that care less about the masses and look at the country as a cash cow for them, that they can capitalize even on, the sickness of Kenyan people. You have seen it as a cash cow and you smile before cameras. Something needs to happen to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not how a society is built. You want to tell me that these people don't have a heart, don't have a mind to care, that we have dying mothers in those villages? We have, I went to Nini, you sent me to Marsabit, and when we went to take relief food, and what we saw, the stories we were given on how an expectant mother is transported to hospital on a wheelbarrow, on no road. Now, those are the things that disturb me. Okay, Marsabit is a county. Okay, and there are no roads. The hospital is miles and miles away, kilometers away. And so when if a mama is to has a complication, she's either transported on a motorbike if she's lucky, or pushed on a wheelbarrow, and is being pushed in the wilderness on a wheelbarrow in the direction of the hospital. And not that the hospital is in the neighboring estate or in the neighboring branch. It is kilometers and kilometers away. And so such a scenario, this is the reality of our country. There's no proper road network. The health facilities are far from the people and things like that. These are the realities of our country. Then somebody is laughing at Afia House, embezzling the money that is meant to make these facilities be near to the people and help really, really people that are in need. Duale has his own private, of course, health insurance. The parliament has a health scheme for parliamentarians and their family. Why would you be having all this for yourself with your thousands of ngamias and you still want to laugh as you consume and eat the money that is meant to take care of that mama in West Pokot, in Wajir, in Garissa, in places that are remote where there are no facilities, and you laugh before cameras? Something drastic must happen to this country, and we as Kenyans need to make that happen. And that is this heartless, wicked, twisted people need to be dealt with. So this patting them on the shoulder and telling them they should step aside, no, there's no stepping aside. Let's have criminal charges opened against these people. Let's see some heads, no, not just heads rolling. Let's see some really, really teeth biting these particular cases. There's a feature story that was carried out on NTV of a missionary Catholic hospital, I think somewhere in Nakuru, where they have capitalized on making money from the SHA system, that all expectant mothers who go there for delivery, they are pushed so that they take the C-section delivery process because it pays more. And as long as they have SHA, they know instead of 10,000, they will get 30,000. And now this is a mission hospital. Mission hospital, in my opinion, and in the mind of majority of Kenyans, they are supposed to be the most caring. They are the ones that are supposed to be giving priority to the health and the welfare of the patient. But the hospital is being run for cash purposes, and patients are being neglected. Patients are dying as they are administered to by incompetent staff. I hear that the hospital doesn't have a dedicated doctor. If they have a case, they have to call Nakuru, wherever, is it General Hospital or Nakuru, wherever, level 5 hospital, for a doctor to come. And so all these things are happening, and Duale is laughing before cameras. And we as Kenyans don't see anything wrong with that. Please, let's wake up and do what should be done. And that is get things done the right way. Hii story ingine hii tunacheza nayo, lazima tuamke, tufike mahali ambapo tunasema hapana, imetosha. Na kama umepewa jukumu kama minister wa health, the health of Kenyans should be the priority, and health services are supposed to be made accessible in the simplest way possible. In the simplest way possible. I grew up in the Moi era, and then as primary school kids, when you missed school, you had to prove that you were sick. And to prove you are sick, you had to produce the sick sheet. It's not the doctor's report. And so if you missed school, you had to go to hospital and obtain a written, stamped prescription that you are in the hospital. That's why you missed school. I went to school when you could be arrested for failing to go to school. Hii maneno ya nyumba kumi, mzee wa mtaa, hawakukuwa kukula tu chakula. They want to make sure that education as a policy is being implemented in the remotest place, and as teachers are being paid, schools are being built, textbooks are being supplied, exercise books are being supplied. There is really education taking place, and really education can only take place when the students are in class, teachers are in class. And so when you would miss to go to school, you'll be arrested to be taken to school to ensure that education is indeed taking place. And so my point is, accessing the hospital was a walk-in. You walk in, you introduce yourself, you're taken through the process, you are wherever examined, you get medicated, and you walk away. There was no insurance, there was no NHF or anything. It was a public government hospital, and it was serviced with medicine, with nurses, with doctors. That's the kind of healthcare system I envision and aspire for this country. We remove this issue of shoshu and just make sure that we have sufficient doctors, we have enough hospitals, we have enough nurses, and those hospitals are stocked with medicine and have efficient staff members, so that any Kenyan working in that facility will be attended to in the best way possible, because we have best doctors, best nurses, and best staff members in the place. The government should ensure that. And now, instead of the government ensuring there is medicine, there are doctors, there are nurses, they're ensuring that there is SHA. Why? Because SHA is a conduit, a path, an avenue through which they will eat the money. God should have mercy on us. Like I said, something must happen to us as a people. Hii ujinga lazima ukomeshwe, na kukomeshwa ni lazima Wakenya tufike mahali ambapo tuanza kuuliza maswali. Tuache kukubali na hii maswala ya kwenda kujikusanya hapo kuanza kusema ni kabila letu linalengwa. Kabila letu linalengwa. Kama Duale amekosea, ni Duale amekosea, sio Wasomali wamekosea. Na abebe msalaba wake. So kama Wakenya tujikomboe kwa kusimama na ukweli, na tukatae story mingi ya kufanya nini, ya story mingi ya kuficha mambo ambayo yako wazi. So kwangu mimi, Duale should not be anywhere health is being given, just like Murkomen should not be anywhere security is being discussed. Duale should not be anywhere health is being discussed. Is in a misplaced docket, number one, and is the wrong person for that particular responsibility. We need somebody serious. Healthcare, like if I were president, there are only 3 things to ensure that, or maybe 4. You keep them in place, they will take care of everything else. Healthcare, education, food security, and national safety. Those 4. My cabinet should have only those 4 ministers. Minister for food security, Minister for healthcare, Minister for education. Yes, okay, education and security. Those are enough. Run those 4 effectively, everything else will take care of itself. Lakini hii mchezo tunachezewa hapa, kwangu mimi haifurahishi kabisa, na ningependa kama Wakenya tusikubali kuchezewa. Wale ambao wamejitolea kunyanyaza Wakenya na kutumia vibaya rasilimali za nchi wanapaswa kukamatwa na kufungiwa, ndipo watu watakaa square. Nikukumbushe tu, mnakumbuka time ya Kibaki. Time ya Kibaki kulikuwa na policy ambayo Kibaki aliintroduce, anti-corruption, ambako ukikuwa mention tu kwamba unahusika katika corruption, you will, number 1, step down, and you will get half salary until your case is determined, and if it's confirmed, you are dismissed. What happened? Corruption dropped drastically. That's number 1. Number 2, people were careful. Haikukuwa hii ya wazi kwamba kila mtu anakuitisha hongo kila mahali. Everybody became careful. Leo kila mtu anakuitisha hongo, watchman anakuitisha hongo, mtu wa kijikoni anakuitisha hongo. headmaster na kuitisha hongo, mwalimu anakuitisha hongo, wanafunzi wa kuitisha hongo, kila mtu anataka hongo. Kumeoza. Kwa nini? Hakuna mtu yeyote anayelipia. Corruption thrives when it doesn't. Corruption thrives when it pays. But when corruption becomes too expensive, everybody will run away from it. So let's see how many people have been dismissed on corruption grounds. Senior people. Just 2-3 of them. And the whole country will straighten out. Lakini hii wale wanaiba sana hao ndio naongezewa mingi. Alafu mnasema you're fighting corruption. Tuache ujinga. Well, thank you very much ladies and gentlemen. Tunaendelea vizuri tunapoanza kutamatisha kipindi chetu. Kama una swali weka hapo kwa comment section, tutaweza kulijibu, lakini napenda Wakenya tuanze kuzungumza masuala haya. Tuanze kushughulikia masuala haya kwa kina. Tusikubali kubeba ujinga. Tusikubali kubeba ujinga. Tusimame imara kutetea nchi yetu na tukatae kudanganywa, tukatae kubebwa ujinga kabisa kabisa. Haki ya kikatiba ni afya ya Wakenya, chakula cha Wakenya, masomo ya Wakenya, usalama wa Wakenya. Those are non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. And any government that is playing with that government should go. Should go. And this gambling that William Ruto is inviting us into, that ametuletea nyumba, ametuletea soko, ametuletea sijui railway, sijui anatuletea barabara. When the country is falling apart, our education is falling apart, our healthcare is falling apart, ametuletea nini? Nani alimwambia atuletee? Mimi kile naelewa ni kwamba kuongoza nchi ni kuhakikisha kwamba kuna maendeleo katika kila sehemu, na hayo maendeleo yanatokana na nchi yenyewe. Kwa mfano, haya maswala tunazungumzia kuhusu nini? Nimezungumza kuhusu Marsabit. Hakuna barabara, okay? Of course hakuna stima, hakuna maji, hiyo mambo yote. Lakini hayo maji yako nini? Chini. So all we need is to put up a water plant in Marsabit. Dig up the borehole, put up a water plant, treat the water because the water is salty, and do what? Distribute the water to the residents. Have the place, Marsabit is big. Have the place be demarcated so that we have wherever the nomadic people this side, we have residents this side, then we have agriculture taking place using irrigation. Lakini governor amekuwa huko miaka hizo ngapi? 15 years now, okay? But the place is still the way it used to be during Moi's time. Ile barabara iko ya lami ni ile baba alitengeneza na Kibaki. Na bado tunasema hiyo ni maendeleo? Hapana. Tuanze kuuliza maswali. So kuendelea kwa nchi inamaanisha nataka Marsabit iendelee. I inject into the economy of Marsabit so that Marsabit generates the money that is used for its development. Hiyo ni tofauti na kupeleka pesa Marsabit. Facilitate the place so that the place can contribute to its development. That is what development is. So let there be modern schools in Marsabit. Let there be modern hospitals in Marsabit. Let there be road network so that Marsabit, Turkana, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo are intertwined. They can transport their items, and sell on different markets. That's how to open up the place and make the economy of the place work. And then the collections from those markets and other places will be used to maintain whatever that needs to be maintained and the development of the place. Lakini wewe kuzurura na kikapu, mara huku umeleta empowerment ya wanawake, huku umeleta empowerment ya watoto, huku umekimbia umepeleka sijui ya kanisa, huku umepeleka msikiti. Those distributions don't work. They have not worked. Why are we insisting on it? Alafu nyinyi mnatuambia hapa eti Ruto ana mpango. Ana mpango upi? Mpango wa kutembea na kikapu kama mchungaji wa kupeleka sadaka huku na huku. Huo ndio mpango. Mpango mzuri ni ule ambao unasababisha wananchi kutajirika. Kibaki inherit a dead economy and in the negative. What did he do? He facilitated the productivity of Kenyans. Alisema anataka a working nation. So watoto vijana wote walikuwa wanakaa jiweni, jobless corner. Akawaambia kuna tuk-tuk na kuna motorbike. Hakuna kukaa kwa jobless corner. Kila mtu ale jasho lake. What happened? The economy turned around. Lakini wewe uko na 40 million people who are jobless. And then you're telling them that what? Umewaletea 50,000 ya nyota. Ai? Okay. Acha nisiende sana, sitaki kupigwa mawe, lakini hatuwezi kuendelea hivyo. Harambee haiwezi kusaidia. Cha kusaidia ni kila mwananchi awe productive, na serikali ni lazima itengeneze hao mazingara ya kila mwananchi kuwa productive. Na hiyo inatokana na nini? Na watu ambao wanafikiria tofauti, si wala wanafikiria kama Ruto. Wala wanafikiria kwamba serikali ni ya kugawa rasilimali, ya kuzurura na vikapu na kupeana pesa. That's not government function. Government is supposed to formulate policies that will enhance development. We have what they call regional economies. Those regional economies need to be revamped. How are we going to revamp them? Nilisikia wanasema ati wanataka oh God. Ati Nyamira wapewe airstrip. Kisii wapewe airstrip. Homa Bay wako na airstrip. Kakamega wako na airstrip. Kisumu wako na airport. So mimi nashindwa airstrip ni za nini? Pia Kericho wanataka airstrip. Za kufanya nini? Hiyo airstrip lazima ikuwe iajiri mtu. Mtu atakuwa anakaa hapo kila siku. Ndege inaangukanga hapo mara moja kwa miaka, mara mbili kwa mwaka, lakini kuna watu hapo wanalipwa mshahara kila mwaka, kila mwezi kwa kukatakata nyasi hapo na kukaa hapo kungoja ndege siku ile itakuja mara mbili kwa mwaka. Airstrip. Kama kuna international airport Kisumu, we don't need an airstrip in Kisumu. We don't need an airstrip in Kakamega. We don't need an airstrip in Homa Bay. We don't need an airstrip in Kisii or Nyamira or wherever. Or Busia. All we need is a railway network. Railway network. Yes, railway. Mtu akidondoka, akishuka kwa ndege Kisumu hivi anaingia kwa gari, bullet train. Okay? Bullet train is coming after every 10 minutes or something. It will take you to Homa Bay. It will take you to Kisii. It will take you to Nyamira. It will take you everywhere you want to go. A proper road network and proper railway network. When that happens, all these economies will be revamped just by that networking. Lakini wewe badala ufikirie kuconnect hizi parts, Kericho, Kisumu, Kisii, Nyamira, Homa Bay, zote zishikane kwa pamoja with the road network, efficient road network and efficient railway network, wewe unaenda kuitisha airstrip. Haya, mmeletewa airstrip, ndege inakuja mara pili kwa mwaka. So how does that affect the economy of the place? How does that help the development of the place? So after that, tuko na Kisumu International Airport, tuko na Eldoret Moi International Airport, of course Jomo Kenyatta, and then there is one in Mombasa. It will now, from there, itakuwa kila county wanataka international airport. You see the way we waste resources? Invest where nothing is going to come from. Na hiyo mnatuambia ndio maendeleo. Hapana. This country needed rethinking. We need a different way of operating. To change this country is very simple. Just get the country connected. To develop West Pokot, to develop Turkana, to develop Marsabit, Wajir, and Garissa is connected to the rest of the country. Connected to the rest of the country. Who may cut from the rest of the country? The road network is poor. There are no roads in the place. Then unatuambia umewaletea let me not get angry. Naomba tuanze kumalizia hapo. It's sad. It's sad that our country still has people who think that running around with a basket in the name of empowerment is helping this country when it has failed for 60 years. Mtu bado ana insist kwamba ataleta maendeleo kwa kupeana hela kwa mama na vijana. This is terrible. Well, I promised you to end the show with the Kumekucha analysis of the Jirongo fiasco. I just want to appreciate all of you for being part of the conversation. That video will be the final one in this particular episode, but we are back with a bang. We'll be here, and usipotuona hewani si eti tumesusia ama hatutarudi, ni tunakuwa tuna itilafu. Stima yetu saa ingine imekuwa na shida. Sijui kama hiyo rationing Ruto alisema inafanyika. For the last week for 3 days tulikuwa na stima nusu. Stima nusu yezifanya chochote. The lights can't work. It's risky to connect the machines on it. Inaweza kuja ikachoma vyombo, so tukakaa tu hivyo. But I really want to thank all of you for your faithful support. Thank you. The only trouble I have with you is that you don't even check on what happened. You wait until you see us, but we'll be here. Thank you very much. Namwona nani? Esther Stola, asante sana. Nimemwona Atuni, our PS, asante sana. Jared, asante sana. Olele, asante sana. Of course, Duncan Bundi, asante sana. Na wengine wote ambao mmejiunga nasi kwa TikTok, thank you so much. I really salute all of you for your faithful continued followership and support. And tafadhali kama hujajiunga na inaitwa nini, au hujajiunga na WhatsApp group yetu kubwa tu ya Sound Candid Talk, unaweza kujiunga nayo kwa kuni inbox kwa WhatsApp, alafu nitaweza kukuongeza. Huko kuna siasa ambayo inaendelea, ama majadiliano huwa yanaendelea kabla hata tuwe hapa kwa show, na mambo mengi tu huko utainteract na watu tofauti. Bora tu uwe na nidhamu, alafu ukae na watu vizuri. Kuna watu wa diaspora, watu wa home and kadhalika. So kama ungependa kwa hiyo group pia, you just contact me on +254718454585. Hiyo ndio namba ya kutumia. Samahani, inaonekana hata sikuweka scrolling information. Poleni sana. Ni vile tunatumia system tofauti, kwa hivyo mambo mengine yanakuja pole pole, lakini nawashukuru tu sana. Nataka tusikilize hii analysis tunapofunga, na waomba tu tumakinike katika mambo haya yote, tujifunze yote ambayo tunapaswa kujifunza, lakini tuwajibike kwa ajili ya nchi yetu.
Task to undertake in any situation, and that is why corporate damage control after the fact is usually a very difficult task to undertake in any situation, and that is why corporate fixers are paid huge, unimaginable amounts of money to do what they usually do. However, the government of Kenya throughout history has been very successful, almost 100% successful, when it comes to damage control after the fact. Let us admit that they have that record. And now, right before them, is the saga that has shocked the nation. Yeah. The very sudden death, Cyrus Jirongo, at a place where it does not make sense. Whichever way you look at it, it does not make sense why he was there. And how are those damage control measures going? Is it working? Welcome to my show today, which is a follow-up on the story that has refused to leave the minds of Kenyans. And we'll also cover some updates and new issues that have come up. Yeah, I'm sure a show that will be worth your time. Karibuni sana na twende kazi. Why has the post-mortem on the late Cyrus Jirongo been delayed so much? Why? And yet we know the post-mortem on the car, the forensic audit undertaken by friends of Cyrus Jirongo, very fascinating results. We know that one has already happened. But then this examination on the casualty, the victim in this case, has been delayed. As I make this recording, the latest is that it is being done today, Wednesday the 17th of December, the year of our Lord, 2025. Now, one thing you can be very sure about is that when something like this happens, there is a lot of activity behind the scenes. And usually, there is a push and pull and people flexing their muscles, both within the family and close friends of the late Jirongo, but also amongst people on the other side, very powerful people in the country, influential people, who were somehow linked to this tragedy. And of course, there was the very, very bad sign when the body arrived at the Lee Funeral Home. After a very short while, very few people saw the body. The public, the family, and anybody was barred from viewing the body. And we were told this was because there was still investigations going on linked to the body. And I'm afraid that is a very red flag, indicating possibility of damage control. And of course this makes me, and I'm sure everybody else, very curious and anxious to see the results of the autopsy whenever that will come out. And I want us to draw our attention to something here, yeah, concerning this push and pull, and possibly the kind of autopsy we're going to get, whether it's going to be real or whether it is going to be doctored. Okay? And it is this. You see, Bwana Jirongo, because of his character, had some very powerful friends in Kenya. Okay? The fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, was a close friend of Jirongo. The son of the second president of Kenya, the favorite son, Gideon Moi, was very, very close to Jirongo. Later on this show today, we will look a little deeply into why this was so, why they were such great friends. It started a long time ago in the 90s. And there are dozens of other characters, very influential people in our country, who owe the late Jirongo a lot. And now that he's gone, I am sure that their conscience will not allow them to sit back and watch things go against their departed friend. Now, damage control. You know, sometimes you can do something. Yeah, this happens in this life. You can do something where everything goes wrong right from the beginning. For instance, this is the festive season, and so you can decide to start on a journey to your shags, and you're ready and everybody's excited. But as soon as you get to your vehicle, you discover that you have a puncture. And when you reach Limuru, because you're going to Western Kenya, your car engine starts overheating. You notice those two problems are completely unrelated. Yeah? But things are just happening. Everything is going wrong. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. Now in the Jirongo saga, everything started going wrong. As I mentioned in my previous video, one of the problems encountered very early on, I'm sure, was that somebody forgot the make of a vehicle we are dealing with here. A Mercedes-Benz, the product of decades and decades of high-tech research to improve, and mainly focusing on safety features. Decades of that. You know, a few hours before I came in to make this recording, I was talking to a Mercedes expert, and they got very impatient with me. You see, I was asking them a very simple question. Is it possible for Mercedes-Benz, especially the model in question, which the late Cyrus Jirongo was driving, to be involved in an accident as described by the DCI, dragged 25 meters down the road, down the highway? You know, we journalists ask very probing questions, and sometimes we repeat questions for clarity. But I think this expert assumed I was not getting it, and so he told me the following, in a very angry tone. Boss, this is a German machine. Do you know what that is? Do you understand what that is? This is not a Japanese toy. That is very important to understand. Anyway, his answer to my question was impossible. Maybe a Pro Box. Okay? You know, I have a very nagging feeling that those involved in this damage control, yeah, do not believe that a Mercedes-Benz is a different vehicle, especially when it comes to head-on collisions. Sigari ni gari tu, kwani? Eish! Now please allow me to interrupt my show today to put something on record that I believe is very important. Okay? Yesterday, some men knocked on my front door and told my children that somebody had sent them to collect a fridge to help that person carry the fridge, and they even suspected it is me who made the call. Of course, I didn't make such a call. And the reason why I'm putting it on record on YouTube is because I saw a coded message there You see, a fridge, for those Kenyans lucky enough to own one, is a very vital thing in the house. So, some people have been sent to collect this vital thing from the house, and take it to wherever. People have been sent to collect a very vital thing in that house and take them to wherever. I'm sure you get it. My life is protected by the Most High. But I want it on record here, in case anything happens to me. The world must know about this very strange, bizarre incident. And of my statement, I'm not looking for any sympathy, please don't get me wrong. I've been doing this a long time. I have always been protected by the Most High, and He continues to protect me every day. But I just wanted that to be on the public record. Nothing more, nothing less. Now let me tell you a story that maybe you've heard before. There was this madman in a village market, and somebody thought, if I get rid of this madman, nothing will happen. But after he did what he did to the madman, and the madman vanished, and later his remains were found, he discovered to his shock that actually this madman had a lot of relatives, and people were close to him. On the surface of things, when Jirongo was still here with us in the world of the living, it would have been very easy to say, who is Cyrus Jirongo? Who is he? He's a nobody. It would have been very easy to say that. But then, I strongly believe some people at this moment are regretting. They are like that man in that story, the madman. They are realizing, Allah, kumbe this guy had so many powerful people close to him. Aye, how come we didn't notice? And therefore it is no surprise that the damage control exercise ongoing is a disaster. You know, even in the DCI statement released about this CCTV footage of the accident actually happening, the DCI made a mistake. They mixed up the car registration number. Now, to put this into proper perspective, who are the DCI? Can you imagine the FBI in the US coming out with a statement, and they've got the car registration numbers of a very serious incident like this in Naivasha one? They get it wrong. Can you even begin to imagine that? But this is what happened. This is what has happened over the last few hours. Anyway, in my opinion, based on the evidence and the clues in the public domain so far, it is rather obvious that this was a stage-managed accident. We don't have the details yet, but the clues and evidence tell us conclusively this was stage-managed. And therefore, instead of dwelling there, I think we need to move to focusing on the motive. The motive. The motive is always so important. The motive behind where some people or somebody may want to end the life of another person. And while we know very well, even those people, their day will reach. Everybody has to leave this earth. But sending somebody to the afterlife earlier. Anyway, usually there is a motive. I want you to listen in to this very brief audio clip where the late Cyrus Jirongo was telling Edwin Sifuna something. It was one of Jirongo's own podcasts on social media. Listen in. I'll be back.
If you remember, there was even a coup in YK92, led by Sam Nyamweya and a few other people, to kick me out because I'm not towing the line. So there is a wrong perception about individuals without interrogation. When this matter is interrogated in detail, And when I put pen to paper and tell Kenyans...
You are writing a book?
I wrote it a long time ago, but I can't even release it.
Why?
Because I'll end up in... some people might just murder me.
But alive. The book is already there. You know,
it is there.
You cannot kill a voice.
We cannot give it out at the moment, but it will come out at the right time. Kenyans need to understand.
Are you still afraid of that there are still elements within the power circles right now that have grudges from 92? Because those stories that you're telling
that still pull strings in this country.
Okay.
And let me tell you, Sifuna, most Kenyans don't know what their government is.
Now, the late Jirongo did not have any training in journalism. And these issues of info and sensitive info that people have. Otherwise, he would have known when you have sensitive information, you're in great danger if you're yet to release that information. Releasing that information makes it safer for you, because then it will be too late to block that information coming out by finishing off somebody. I'm sure you get it. But when you have that information, and you even confirm by announcing that you have it, and you announce that you have a book and it is even ready, but it is going to be released at an appropriate date, you're putting yourself into very serious danger. That is how it goes. So, could this be the possible motive of the possible murder of the late Jirongo? Well, I leave you to decide that one for yourself. Because I'm yet to get any leads or any pointers that would persuade me enough that this was what broke the camel's back. But of course, I suspect. Please allow me to leave it there. Now, there's something else very interesting I'd like to share from this audio clip. Jirongo in the clip talks about a coup, or rather coup attempt, within the Youth for Kano organization, Youth for Kano 92, where some people are very determined to remove him as chairman of that lobby group, which was his brainchild in the first place. I'm sure you'd like to know the people who are behind Sam Nyamweya in his bid for this coup within YK 92. George Saitoti and his handlers were terrified of the YK 92 movement lobby group. And some of Saitoti's handlers felt that Moi was going to wake up very soon and appoint Jirongo Vice President of the Republic of Kenya in a bid to get a new image for the KANU government, the much-hated KANU government then. Also in that camp was another very powerful Kenyan and very famous called Nicholas Kipiator Biwott. So, how did Jirongo, who was about 31, 32 years old then, how did Jirongo survive? I think the answer to that question is very instructive, even to all the issues we're facing here today, even those I've mentioned in the video, especially about the late Jirongo having powerful friends. Now, Jirongo was a very sly man, and right from the get-go, he befriended people who mattered, like Gideon Moi and other Moi children, and another powerful man called Hezekiah Oyugi. People who had the president's ear, okay? They could get to the president and tell him something at any time of the day or night. And that is what saved Jirongo and sustained him as chairman of YK 92. And I'm sure that tells you a lot, doesn't it? About the character of the late Jirongo. Now, very quickly before I go, the last offer ended, and the latest offer, which I'm launching today, and again, which will only take a few hours, a few days at most, you can see on your screens right now. As long as your gift, during this traditional gifting season for Kumekucha Craze, as long as your gift is at least Kenya shillings 2,500, you will be able to get a permanent golden key to anything and everything past, present and future that is Kumekucha. That is a lot of sensitive information, including a video that many have been asking me about because they did not believe it back then, how Baba was finished. Okay? How he was assassinated. Exactly how. Of course, that is included in the videos you'll get immediately. You become a brand new golden key member. Please rush. Details are on your screens right now. Please move with speed if you're in a position to, because this is yet another crazy offer. My very small way of saying thanks to the amazing support I've received from you guys. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.